The goals I have is names, and I want to be the guy that took out everyone, so when it's all said and done, they'll be like, man, he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time.
Hello fight fans, I hope you're doing well. In today's video, we'll be talking about one of the best champions of the UFC and an A-lister of the fight game, Israel, the last stylebender Adesanya. The reigning middleweight champion of the UFC has become one of the most popular stars ever since he made his debut. He is currently ranked third in the pound-for-pound list of fighters in UFC, and many believe he'll be the next big headlining superstar of the UFC in the coming years. Adesanya has been a revelation at middleweight, becoming one of the division's greatest champions in recent times, and he's all set to dazzle the fans with his skills when he faces Robert Whittaker at UFC 271 in their second title fight. So, in today's edition, we'll be focusing on Adesanya's lifestyle and his net worth. So, let's start our countdown with he's a huge anime fan. Apart from being one of the most skilled and greatest fighters of his generation, Adesanya is hugely inspired by his favorite anime and its famous characters. He's a big fan of anime such as Naruto and Death Note, and is seen replicating the characters' moves inside the octagon regularly during and after his fights. The level of influence doesn't end there, as Adesanya is seen wearing merch and apparel of his favorite anime characters. He's also inked his body with tattoos of his favorite anime characters such as Toph Beifong and others. His nickname, in case you didn't know, is directly gained from the animated series The Last Style Airbender, where, rather than being the Airbender, he has infused some style into it by giving him the name The Last Stylebender.
This is Kurama, the nine-tailed fox, a demon fox from Naruto. And you see the eyes of Kurama? You see the eyes of my car?
Very
see the color? Same thing.
Just prior to his fight at UFC 263 against Paulo Costa, Adesanya was seen sporting a Naruto tee, which shows his interest in the character. Obviously, Adesanya has also hinted in several interviews that he would like to start a production company of his own, which focuses on making anime-san bringing characters to life.
After fighting, I'm going to have my own production company where I can bring my ideas to life and hire people who have
sponsors. Adesanya, in his rather short career, has accumulated a lot of acclaim and fame as one of the best MMA fighters, which has resulted in a good number of sponsors. He's currently sponsored by brands such as Engage, the apparel giant, and Peak Milk. Stylebender has recently made history by signing a lucrative merchandise sponsorship deal with Puma, making him the first MMA fighter to do so. In this regard, he holds the distinction along with fellow superstar Jon Jones to be sponsored by major sporting brands, with Jones being sponsored by Nike at the start of his career. With Adesanya reaching his prime, he's one of the most marketable athletes in the sport, and that means more sponsorships coming his way in the near future. Looking at his performances inside the octagon, very few would argue against it. Net worth. Adesanya has been a recipe of some huge payouts in his UFC career by putting stellar performances inside the octagon. His highest payout was his successful championship defense against Paulo Costa, where he earned a whopping $690,000. Cha-ching! His earlier fight against Yoel Romero got him $540,000, with his interim title fight against Kelvin Gastelum earning him $430,000. His career earnings stand at $3 million and are believed to have a net worth of around $4 million. Rumors and news about Stylebender. Adesanya is usually the subject of a lot of discussions from fellow fighters of his division, frankly. Recently, he was in news when he said that the UFC and Dana White were lying about him and Whitaker fighting for the title at UFC 271. In a tweet to the announcement of the fight, Adesanya posted a blue hat emoji, which is slang used for the term lying, cap. Stop the cap. White refuted the rumors by saying that the UFC has never booked a fight without the fighters being informed about it beforehand. The confusion was then cleared when Adesanya said he was seething at the teeth to fight Whitaker in February and proved he's the one and only king in the middleweight division. He was recently accused by middleweight fighter Sean Strickland on being on steroids. Strickland believes that images of Adesanya's right pec being a little too enlarged prior to his fight with Paulo Costa were telltale signs that Adesanya was on, steroid use.
I mean, Israel's just a crafty motherfucker. Like, I know me wrong, like, we all know he does steroids, and that probably helps his performance. We all seen him fight with the titty that hung down.
But all these rumors seem to be untrue and unfounded, as Adesanya has been regularly tested by USADA ever since his debut in the UFC, and he hasn't been tested positive for steroids or any other banned substance in his MMA career to date. Has stood up for his mates at CKB amidst issues. Adesanya, along with fellow pro fighters such as Dan Hooker and Alex Volkanovski, they train at CKB Center in their native New Zealand. Last year, there was an issue amidst the pandemic where certain fighters and the gym weren't allowed to operate due to the restrictions. Due to that, his fellow trainer partner, Dan Hooker, had to contend with visa issues and wasn't going to make it in time for his fight against Nasrat Haqparast at UFC 266. Adesanya spoke out on the ordeal of his teammate by saying, "The way it's looking, I can't speak for my teammates. It's looking like stationing away from New Zealand. Our hand is forced." And it seems like Adesanya intends to do so, as his tweet from last year seems to confirm that the middleweight champion will be moving to the States very soon. He said, "Cat's out the bag, I'm moving to America. When faced with obstacles, we adapt and overcome them. I'm 32 and applying pressure like J. Cole before I'm out of the game. We built the city at City Kickboxing ourselves and the support of the people. No government handouts or backing, and became the #1 winning gym on earth. 4 walls and a roof don't make a martial arts gym," Adesanya continued. "The people who toil day in and day out make it what it is. So wherever those 4 walls and roof is located, it still be City Kickboxing." Adesanya in the past had stated his desire to defend his title in New Zealand in front of his home crowd, but turns out the champ has made up his mind not to fight there anymore after having seen his pals being mistreated. Adesanya, in a video from his YouTube channel, said, "You never see me fight in New Zealand ever again. All that money, they could get from somewhere else. The rugby, their crickets, and all the others they're given exceptions to, but you'll never see me fight on these shores. That was one of my dreams, to headline a stadium in my backyard. That dream's in dead water. That's just the way I feel right now." It's like, really, this is what you're using your privilege to do? He concluded. "The constant effort to stifle, to break up, to disrupt our team at City Kickboxing, from helping team captain Dan Hangman the Hooker for getting ready for his fight, that's pissed me off the most." He also voiced his opinion for his fallen teammate, Fao Fakey, who was a victim of a cowardice attack and ended up losing his life. Rest in peace. Now, let's head into a fun fact. Fun fact, for many who don't know, Adesanya is an accomplished dancer, and those dance moves are correlated to his incredible movement inside the octagon. His razor-sharp movement is thanks to his dancing skills, and he surely knows how to dance, as Stylebender shows off his moves each time. Most famously, his walkout at UFC 243, where he entered the crowd with an incredible sequence of moves. Bullying led to him pursuing a career in MMA. Adesanya, when he was young, moved with his parents and his siblings in New Zealand in 1999. During his teenage years, he was subject to a lot of bullying and racist abuse in high school. Adesanya recalls those incidents by saying that, "I didn't realize I was black until I moved here. I remember a kid from school kept on riding past my house and going, 'Go back to your country, black and knees.'" So all those incidents motivated Stylebender to persuade a career in MMA, and ever since that, it's been onwards and upwards for the Nigerian-born champion of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Now, he holds an MMA record of 21 wins and 1 loss, and is one of the greatest fighters and champions that MMA has seen. And finally, after looking at Adesanya's lifestyle and his sponsors, his net worth stands at $4 million, and you can expect that figure to stand and grow at a substantial rate by the end of his career, due to him being an unforgettable star in the UFC. And by this, we come to the end of the video, but before leaving, we'd like to know your views on Adesanya's lifestyle. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Take care.